All right, let's get started. Otskara sama desu. Good evening, good evening. Welcome back to Shiitake News. It's that time. The time is 3 a.m. on February 26th, the year of our Lord, 2020. Today we're going to be talking about a few subjects, but let's start off with the COVID update. COVID-19 update and the Diamond Princess. Recently there was a professor that's not snuck on board, but he's a viral specialist, and he got on board the ship through several means, trying to get on the ship to see if he can help. And he got a good look at the ship and how the crew's being taken care of and how the passengers are being taken care of. And his job is to, confinement of viruses. He's traveled to Africa. He's been around Ebola. He's been in China for SARS. He's done quite a bit of traveling. And he says he's genuinely concerned about how they're being treated on the ship, how there's no scientific lead. The lead is a bureaucrat. And that sounds incredibly Japanese. I love this country. I love the culture. But the bureaucrats are garbage. There's a form, a release form that they're signing, and they're passing it between the infected individuals and the healthy ones. And that sounds bureaucratic. That sounds exactly like something a typical city office worker would do. Somebody who works for the government. That's exactly what they would do. That's how they would think. And they have the health minister there, but there's no professionals. There's people who are there to clean, who disinfect, but even they say they don't feel safe. Some people say they're sick, so they're not even taking any effort to take care of themselves. They're just sitting out in the open, eating amongst others. There's people who are sick, who are walking through the halls, getting from one side to the other. It's going to be a death trap. And I'm pissed the fact that ship is even docked at Yokohama port. I'm not saying abandon it, but it's not equipped. What they have out there is just them kind of waiting it out, and it looks bad. And this doctor, he was kicked off his ship. He was kicked off the ship because his suggestions were legit and real, and they undermine what the bureaucrat wants. So they kicked him off. He's too noisy. And he uploaded a video. And he self-quarantined himself because even the people on the ship didn't see it fit. Like, he just get him off. Don't worry about him infecting others or if he might possibly be sick. And these bureaucrats are idiots. Absolute idiots. But most of them weren't elected. They were just in place by other idiots. And the fact that Abe is sending, masks to China when Japan has a huge shortage is idiotic. Money and mask. Yep, exactly what Japan needs as well. Now China is, on the other hand, very cutthroat. The ships they were sending to the U.S. hospitals, to fulfill the contracts, because they have, I guess, contracts from China to supply the U.S. hospitals. Those ships turned around mid travel. They said, nope, come back to China. We need those supplies. Damn the contract. And even the company that makes the masks in China, that's an American company, it's been nationalized. Now it's a Chinese company. There's no say about it. This company that used to be U.S. is automatically now converted into a Chinese company. And all these masks that they're producing are now Chinese masks. That's what I can't feel bad. That's what the U.S. gets for building their factories, or the factories outside of the U.S. They might save $1, so let's build them. Let's produce them in China. China's a communist. This just gives you more reason why you should be more self-sufficient as a country. Some of the rules, or some of the articles I saw that were interesting. Some investors, some wealthy-off individuals are looking into stockpiling food. This guy lives in, he's looking for keto-friendly, foods to stockpile, and what recommendations the general community has. It's as first world as you get. I want to protect myself, make a survival kit that's keto friendly. But at least he's taking the initiative. What else? The coronavirus is a threat. Or Iran, the next up, was saying that the virus wasn't a threat. There's no cover up. The individuals that died were old, and the minister is sick. The health minister falls ill while he's doing the interview. Here's a link to the video. You can watch him as he starts breaking out in sweats, while other individuals in the room are giving explanations on what the situation is. Bureaucrats they're idiots. Let's be honest. They're elected there to do a job, and they're useless at everything else. Countries are trying to limit travel. I'm not sure how much that's going to work, because they don't even have track of who's sick and who isn't. And here's a graphic video of how extreme things are getting. Some Chinese officials clubbed some poodles, and the video is very graphic, so if you don't want to see it, I wouldn't recommend clicking it. But they clubbed some poodles to death with the iron bar, and people are just worried that they may not get sick, but them being petted, or them getting wet, or them being coughed on and walking around spreading it to others, people are just paranoid. When they lose, when they're scared, they lose ration. There's a lot of deaths outside of China that are making people worry. And I think Iran is number one. I think they're at 15. And number two would put South Korea. Now, right now, the current infection rate or numbers are in Japan are 800. But only because the stupid Princess cruise ship is parked at the docks with about 600-700 sick people. That's the only reason Japan numbers are so high. The initial 85 or 100 that made it to the community have not grown. That number has stayed at about 100. But the ones on the cruise ship are tallied up towards the Japanese total. So had we not accepted this stupid cruise ship, our numbers would have been much lower, and there wouldn't be a travel ban against us. Probably still going to bring my young one here. I feel like it's going to be safer here. But if you want to look at the Diamond Princess video, the link is right here. It's not the original doctor was forced to take it down, and I heard the police are forcing him to take it down. So take a look, download it, share it with others. I normally don't like sharing things that aren't unconfirmed, but this one might not be around for everybody to see for long. So if you get a chance, take a look, share it with others, and consider how idiotic bureaucrats are, and consider if you're willing to trust those who lead your country with your life. And if you don't, stock up, save food, get ready. Even if it's keto friendly, just go ahead and prepare yourself for the worst. That being that, let's move on to the next part. 6 years old being arrested. And the video is from beginning to end, from the moment they take her from the principal's office all the way to the police car. This is a cultural thing. Not saying that she's bad or the police are bad or the school is bad. But nobody's trying to take responsibility for these kids. Whose fault is it? These officers are just reacting. That's it. And what happened is the little girl threw a tantrum in the class and started beating on adults and beating on kids. And the principal and the school has no clue how to deal with that. This child's throwing a tantrum, so they don't know what to do. And they don't want to get their hands possibly dirty by, sitting her out, taking her out of the classroom, whatever that girl needs at the time. So they call the police. I cannot blame the police. I cannot blame the school for being scared and not knowing what to do with her. And in the end, I feel like I blame the parents. Now, this is extreme. And the fact that they said they would have put her in cuffs if she was just a little bigger, that seems extreme too. But a child throwing a tantrum at age 6, a violent one, that has to be, somebody must have told her that it was okay, or somebody must have, you know, never tried to correct that throughout her youth, when she was from birth to 6. Something went wrong. That child needs guidance. Whether the parents aren't giving it to her or the school's too scared to give it to her, it only leaves a police officer to take her over to juvie. That's not a good trip for the kid. And the kid cries. It's a kid. The kids are all innocent, from my opinion. There's no such thing as a bad kid. They're all good kids. If they're confused, if they're violent, if they're wrong, it's usually on us, the parents. We can't expect the school to discipline these kids or to teach them what's right and wrong. I'd like to have the schools take less and less of a part in raising our kids. But unfortunately for this little girl, she realized she was in trouble. She apologized, asked for a second chance, but it was too late. I'm sad to see her go. I generally have a soft spot for kids. They're the only people I feel are completely innocent. If a war happens and if casualty happens, that, anybody over 18 could have changed the outcome, could have made an influence, could have protested. But those under 18, the young ones, they're innocent as far as I can tell. So she needs guidance and she's not getting it. And now she's in the back of a police car crying. It's sad. Nothing we can do there. Hopefully we hear more about what happens there. I wish her the best. Next up, the state of Democratic candidates. I put this cartoon. I give full credit to the artist. I think it's brilliant. This is when Castro died. And the reason we have Castro up here is because good old Bernie brought him back. Bernie decided to praise Castro, and he did before, but he was quoted in praising, do you regret these quotes? How do you feel about it now? Do you feel it's a different times? And Bernie unfortunately backed his old quote, saying, no, he did great things. He taught him to read and this and that, and he's brushing over the tragedies of history. And I don't know why he's doing this. If he does want to start a revolution and he wants to get all these things done, he needs to be realistic. These people, communism is an awful idea. But Bernie's ideas, some of his ideas are not bad. Like when he complains how high the price of hospitals are. That is a fact. That is true. He should have addressed that as a senator. He should have made some effort to bring down the cost. But nothing was done. And now he wants somebody else to pay for it? He's just footing the bill from the locals to the government. And jacking up the prices in between. So he said, well, we can fix it if we bring down the cost of medicine would never be over $200. Why not fix it now? I'm sorry for being loud. There's no excuse not to fix it now. If it's that high, if he wants to bring all prescription medicine that you need under $200 a month, that's a great idea. Everybody should be backing that. Has that been brought up? No. He's trying to kill. He knows the solution to this problem. He sees the problem, but he doesn't know the solution. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like saying, well, I'm thirsty. Well, if I take half your money, I can buy this lake, and after that, I can give you. You'll have all the water you want as long as you pay the taxes. Instead of just saying, we'll cut the taxes on water, so it's cheaper for you to buy yourself. Or we can bring down the price of water if we do this and that, or just do those things without taking over the whole, healthcare. And healthcare might not be an issue. I have friends right now who are looking into getting healthcare back home, and the price is pretty high. It's like $5,000 a year, $6,000 a year, and that's just for a single person, a young person. At that. Fix these problems. He knows what's wrong, and instead of addressing the high cost, he's saying, oh, we're just gonna do Medicare for all. No, if the drug was cheap, then people wouldn't want Medicare for all. We would be happy, the drug's $200 a month. Yeah, I can live off that. Oh, health insurance is less than $200 a month. Yeah, I can live off that too. So he sees the problem, but he's going about it in the most idiotic way. But anyways, after that, he's praising Fidel. Praising Fidel. I don't know why. And I don't see any logic or any benefit to that. Florida's probably going to be pissed. A lot of those Latinos who left Cuba didn't leave it because they loved Cuba so much. They may love Cuba, but they hated the government. And praising them is not going to bring, not going to give any positive points towards Bernie. Next up, or on the same note, we have Joe Biden, who's running for Senate. So it seems like he's not done running for president, but he is running for Senate according to himself. He's at that age. He's way past his silver years. He's going into his platinum years. That gentleman needs to retire. He misspoke basically, but he does this often enough, and he sounds like an older individual who's just lost track of the month, who's not really sure where they are, who has good habits, but yeah, I don't see Joe even trying at this point. The only person that could really stop Bernie seems to be Obama, and that seems like a long shot. Obama's going to stay out of it until they choose a candidate for the Democratic side, but because they're going to need all the ammo they can get against Trump. But I think Obama might have to step in and chime in before Bernie is the candidate. And Bernie's not. I heard his speech. I heard him speak. I heard him debate. He had like a town hall meeting, and his answers were terrible. $30 billion is how much his Medicare for All is going to cost. And the explanation was, I'm gonna charge, or I'm gonna tax the 180,000 of the wealthiest families in the U.S. How many times are you gonna tax these families? Are these families just gonna be cool losing their money again and again and again yearly? I'm gonna tax I'm gonna tax stocks, Wall Street. They're all such vague answers. And we're not talking like Trump used to say, we're going to pay for the wall, but he's talking about $2 billion. We can, the military budget is like $1 trillion. So couple billion, 20 billion, even that is drops. But we're talking about his $30 trillion with a vague explanation on how to fix it. Well, we're going to bring the price of medicine down. Well, do that now. You don't need to, take over. You don't need to take over healthcare to fix that. You can address that now as a senator. You've had 40 years to address this. Was it not important before? Was it just not pressing then? So, I can see the Democrats all lining up to take down Bernie, and Bernie's giving them all the ammo they could possibly want to be taken down. Vague answers. He said he had a list on how to pay for it, and he had like 3 sheets of paper he folded into his inside pocket of his vest. That's gonna solve all our problems. That little Bernie, what are you doing? So, Bernie is a mistake. Biden's not all there. Buttigieg is I don't know. Buttigieg it's in to write a book, I guess, or what it feels like. Warren and Sanders ticket, they said that looks strong. I'm not sure I want to see Warren on the stage. That's a scary thought. Warren lied a lot, and she has a good, sharp mind, but she has a poor character. And then they're talking about Bloomberg and Hillary. And that'll make a very, very short first term for Bloomberg before Hillary somehow miraculously becomes the president. We'll leave it at that for now. They're going to have a debate soon, so that'll be fun to watch, maybe. Because they're going at it like they should have gone at it from the very beginning. When Tulsi Gabbard was still on the stage, when Yang was still on the stage, they should have. When Beto was still on the stage, they should have gone at it like they're going at it now. Knives out, honest, attacking each other's history. Even Bloomberg let go of some of the. He had agreements with some of the ladies to not speak up on his sexual harassment. And now he released 3 of them at least. I'm sure those ladies are well paid off, and they're not going to say a word. But at least he's emptying out he's cleaning out his closet right now. we'll leave it at that. Take care of yourself, protect yourself. Always take care of yourself first so you can help others. And I'll see you tomorrow. Otsukare de esta. This is a weird thing. There's two mouses on my screen. This one up there on the left and this one here on the right. I'm not sure which one's the... Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry about that. Have a good night.